2020 was a tough year for the entire West Coast. Wildfires blanketed the region with smoke for what felt like forever.
I don't think we saw the sun for several weeks.
That's Elizabeth Tomasino, an Oregon State professor of enology, which is the study of wine. In the wine industry, they were particularly hard hit, not by the fires themselves, but by the smoke.
When there's wildfire smoke in the vineyard, when there are grapes on the vine, the compounds in smoke that make it smell like smoke get absorbed into the grape.
The smoke, it couldn't have come at a worse time, near the end of the season, just as grapes were ripening. And that left much of the wine with some pretty funky flavors.
A mouthful of cigarette smoke or a day-old campfire, which is not something you want in your Oregon Pinot Noir.
So Tomasino and a team of researchers started looking for solutions. One of them is Yanyun Zhao, a professor of food science technology at OSU. She explained that wildfire smoke contains chemical compounds called phenols, which are what can make wine taste like an ashtray. So Zhao started looking at edible coatings made of plant fibers that could be applied to grapes to keep the phenols out of the fruit.
So when you block it, it's like a sunscreen. You block the smoke, so we're not even getting into your fruits at all.
With a few experimental formulas in hand, Tomasino and Zhao turned to Alec Levin, a viticulturist who runs the university's Southern Oregon Research Center. Levin sought to see how the coating would actually work in a real-life vineyard.
The first thing we want to make sure, baseline is like, do these formulations, for lack of a better word, ruin the fruit in any way?
Early experiments showed the coatings didn't impede growth, so Levin needed to figure out how well they actually kept the smoke out.
Whenever there's a problem, the first step is to try and recreate the problem and control the problem so that then you can figure out how to solve the problem. But, I'm not going to go around starting wildfires.
Using PVC pipes, some greenhouse plastic, and the kind of grill you might have in your backyard, his team created smoke chambers to see how the coatings held up. And the results were promising. Tomasino said many of the phenols were blocked, though a few still made it through. It'll likely be a year, or perhaps a little longer, before these types of coatings are ready for the commercial market. But Tomasino said it was no longer a question of whether they'll work, just how soon.
Despite how long it might take and everything we've done with the foundation, with the new discoveries, it is going to be successful eventually. That's the one thing I can say looking at this project.
Cale Williams, KGW News.